What up, everybody? It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucking man back with another video. As y'all can see from the thumbnail and the title, Anthony Edwards is a sucker. Yeah, he's a sucker. A bitch ass nigga. I would put that in the title. You feel me? If I wasn't gonna get flagged by YouTube. But yes, Anthony Edwards is a sucker and a bitch ass nigga. If you wanna know why, hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. Now, you still rocking with me? Yes, I said it. Great athlete, plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. In case you don't know, Anthony Edwards is a young, NBA star. He's about 23 years old. And he thinks more with his small head than he does with the one up here, okay? He thinks more with the head down here than he does up here. And I'm going to tell you why. He thinks that he's thinking with the one up here, but it's lacking something right here on this side of the brain wherever common sense is stored. I don't know. I'm not a fucking biologist or a fucking person that studies anatomy or anything, but I do know common sense and I do know a bitch ass nigga when I see one. Why y'all saying, oh my God, Zach, why you say that? This nigga got 4 paternity tests out right now, okay? Like 3 or 4 paternity tests out with different women. Now, if you watched any of my game times, you know that I made a game time. It's the most important decision a man can make in life. Y'all go watch that next. And in that video, I said, the most important decision a man can make in life is not who you marry. It's who you have a child by. You can get married and get unmarried, but you can't unchild a child once a child is here, okay? You can't. And if you do, it's called murder, all right? Once it's here, you cannot unchild a child. So who you pick to be that child's mother is the most important decision that you can ever make in your life, because that is one of the most altering life decisions you can ever make in your life. And it can sing your life in all different areas of life, whether you chose great or whether you chose bad, okay? Unfortunately, some of us were raised by men. And unfortunately, some of us weren't. And unfortunately, some of us who were raised by men, as probably this case in Anthony Edwards' case, don't grow up to be men themselves, all right? Now, to give y'all some more further context, there is an article going around that I see niggas on Facebook and Instagram like, yo, this is a boss-ass move. This nigga hella smart and all this other shit, right? And on the surface, yes, it looks very smart. And yes, it looks like a boss move. But in the underlining surface of it, it's a bitch-ass move. And it's trash. And you're not a man, and I don't respect that shit, all right? Anthony Edwards paid this lady, Mariah Mills, I want to say her name is. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't keep up with all that, but I just seen this story. I know who Anthony Edwards is. I'm not keeping up with all 4 of his baby mamas, all right? But this one in particular, he paid her approximately $1,080,000, and that covers all 18 years of this child's life, right? Which, on the surface, man, that's smart as fuck. But when you look at the details of why he did that, it's because he clearly stated, which he stated, he doesn't want to have any attachment to this child because of his dislike for the mother. He doesn't want her to ask him for shit else. Here goes the money. Leave me alone. You and that kid for the rest of my life. And that is where the bitch ass nigga suck ass shit comes into, okay? So all y'all applauding that shit is bitch ass niggas too. And I'm going to tell you why. Because money does not make up for time spent with your child, nurturing that child. You know, the love that you give a child is priceless. It's priceless. You know what I'm saying? The time that you can spend with your child is priceless. Okay? So just thinking that, oh, I'm financially took care of my child and that's all I have to do, that's sucker shit. That's a bitch ass move, okay? And this is coming from somebody who's been a father since I was 15. I made a video about that. I had a kid at 15. At 15, not 23, I had every excuse in the world not to be a fucking stand-up man and take care of my responsibilities, right? I could have said, oh man, I was a teenager. I didn't know. I was just living my life and I was immature. No, you know what I did? Because I was raised by a man, I got off my fucking ass and I joined the army as soon as I could at 17 to provide for me and mine, okay? My son is old now. He's in his 20s. He has a son of his own now. You feel me? And we raising men around this motherfucker, okay? So I don't want to hear that shit. I could have easily just paid off some money when I didn't want to be with my son's mom no more and just did. But how would my son respect me nowadays? How would my son respect me if I just did him like that and said, oh, no, I didn't want nothing to do with you, son. I didn't want, because I didn't like your mama and yeah, I paid y'all off. So what's the problem? The problem is that you still left this child without a father to guide them in the world, okay? Men need men in their lives to guide them, okay? Just like females need women in their lives to guide them. A woman can raise a man, but she can't teach a man how to be a man. A man can raise a woman, but he can't teach a woman how to be a woman. We can try as best as we can to teach our male and female kids, but it's not the same as the parent who's really going through that as that person. You feel me? And I just don't understand it. I got a young son. I live in Japan. My young son lives in California. I make 3 to 4 different trips out my year just to go back to California to see my son. This is not including every day I talk to my son face to face on the phone. This is not including the fucking child support that I give his mom every single month on the 1st. It's not a day late. It's sometimes early. As is the case in this month, it was 3 days early because I didn't want her to have to even worry about it. You know, if I got it, I'm going to just give it to you. All right. And while I'm on these trips, I'm spending another $600 to $700 and sometimes up to $1,000 on my child. That's off the books. Okay. Most people can't even afford to take one trip out of the state, let alone out of the country one time a year. I do that shit 3 to 4 times a year. Why? Because being a father doesn't stop with my child support payment. Okay. I still have to be there in my child's life, talking to my child daily, you know, seeing my child at least 3 to 4 times a year, once every 3 to 4 months, not missing no birthdays and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because I'm a father, bro. I'm not just a sperm donor. I need to be actively in my son's life any way I can, any chance I can. The reason why I'm in Japan is because I know that by the time I leave Japan, I'm going to have enough money to sustain myself and be able to take care of my son for the next 5 to 10 years still. Okay? He might not understand it right now, but I understand it. And I know that it's for him. It's not for my own personal pleasure, bro. I didn't know shit about Japan before I came here. It's not like I came here because I love anime or I love ramen or I love sushi or any of that other shit. I came here because I knew that this would be a chance for me to save money more than I was in Hawaii and go back and not only be able to sustain my lifestyle there, but even have enough money to still give my kid everything that he wants, you know, after his mama gets the child support. Because I don't give a fuck what she does with that child support, bro. I don't even ask her. I send it and it's gone. I don't even think about it. But anytime she calls me, she needs, you know, he got to go to the hospital and she got to pay the copay or the dentist or anything like that. I'm there. No questions asked. You can ask her. You can ask her. I'm paying that shit. When I go home, I'm spending I could give her, matter of fact, I gave her already the April's child support, right? I'm going home in a few weeks. When I get there, I'm going to spend more on him than I even paid her in child support. And it's nothing to me because that's my child, bro. It's my child. So I can't understand how a person can just think that, you know, just money constitute the same as love and affection and knowledge and game that you can give your child and time and attention. Like it doesn't make up for that shit. And if there's any male out there watching this right now that is in this situation that thinks that just because you send a fucking child support payment, that's sufficient enough, that you don't have to call your kid, you don't have to see your kid, you don't have to check up on your kid, you's a bitch ass nigga, bruh. You are a bitch ass nigga. Nobody told you to fuck that bitch raw. These children do not ask to be born, okay? They don't ask to be born. But since they're here, you need to do everything that you can in your power when you can to nurture that child from the time that it's born. And parenting don't stop. My son called me yesterday asking me for some advice. My oldest son, he's in his mid-20s. Guess what? I had to put the dad hat back on. You know what I'm saying? And give him some game and some advice so he doesn't make some of the mistakes that a person who didn't have a father in his life would make. That's called being a fucking active dad. It don't matter what age your child is. You know what I'm saying? So when I see shit like this and I see niggas saluting this shit and encouraging this shit, and even some females, I'm just like, are we rewarding motherfuckers for just paying off debt so they don't have to be bothered with their own child? Is that what we've come to in society nowadays? As many black men here that don't have fathers and grow up to be all of the negative things that society paints them out to be? It's very few that grow up to become a LeBron James that wasn't raised by a man, as opposed to the ones in that fucking prison cell where in America we house 3 to 6 million people, and a lot of them people are black, and black men make up what, like 14% of the population, but like 80% of the prison population? Don't nobody see a problem in that? We got to break the cycle, black men. We got to break the cycle. And it starts with us right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I want to know who raised that nigga. Who raised that nigga Anthony Edwards? I want to see his father. I want to see his father. Because and if his father wasn't in his life, just because your father wasn't in your life, that doesn't mean that you have to repeat the cycle. Because like I said, this is not the only case. He has 3 other paternity tests going on with other children by different mothers. So this is a pattern here. So this guy got just problems and he thinks that money is going to solve everything. But guess what, man? Time don't wait for nobody. That money's going to run out, but time is still going to show. And when them kids grow up and become great, or them kids grow up and don't like you, you're going to have nothing but yourself to blame. And as many NBA players as it is in the league, past and present, why ain't nobody pulling that nigga to the side and being like, hey, little bruh, check this out, my nigga. Let me give you some game. Why ain't nobody doing that for Anthony Edwards? Why? This is crazy, bro. I don't understand this, bro. And it just makes my blood boil when I see people saluting this kind of shit, because I'm coming from a place where I ain't even have a fucking teenage childhood, bruh. I was off the porch at 12, which is why I had a kid at 15. I'm not blaming nobody for that but myself. I take responsibility for that. Even if I wasn't mature enough at that time, I wouldn't change it all at all. If I could go back, I would do it all over again, because that shit made me become a man even faster. That shit put me in situations in life to where I can give my sons, advice on what to do and what not to do and how to do shit differently than I did. I made the mistakes. It's like Jay-Z said, nah, Hov did that. So hopefully you won't have to go through that. You feel me? I was raised with a man. You know what I'm saying? My father was there in my life. Matter of fact, my father isn't even my biological father. He stepped up when I was 3 years old and took care of me. And that's my father. That's all I know. I met my biological father. I'll make a YouTube video about that another time, because that's a topic I've been wanting to share with y'all in the Lifetime Stories. But, my father raised me, somebody who's not even biologically his son, to a man, to where I can raise my sons as a man, to where now he can raise his son as a man. You feel me? And the cycle will continue through me, through my son, and hopefully through his son. But it started with a man in my life, all right? So I don't want to hear that shit. Y'all call it a boss move. I call it a sucker move. That's a bitch ass nigga right there, all right? I don't give a fuck how good he plays basketball. I don't give a fuck how much money he got. Money don't make you real, my nigga. Skill don't make you real, my nigga. How you treat people and how you handle situations in life are two of the things that make you real. And he dropped the ball on this one. Pun intended. It's your boy Sack the King up in this motherfucker, man. Let me know what y'all think. Hit that subscribe button below so you can be the first to know and help the channel grow. And I'm out.